Hello and welcome back to Toronto FC Fan TV. And in today's video, I will be predicting the 2022 MLS regular season. I'll be predicting where teams will place and a player you should watch out for this season. Last year's video, I did extremely well, 100% success rate, so expect another great prediction right here. Without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. So starting here on the East Coast in 14th place, I'm going to be putting Cincinnati FC. Honestly, at this point, I'm done with trying to believe this team won't finish last every season. They didn't really do a whole lot to fix the squad. It's mostly a lot of the same players. I still like Acosta, but honestly, this team is so garbage that he won't be able to make a difference. He didn't last season, and he won't do it this season either. So yeah, dead last once again. Coming in 13th place, I'm putting the new team, Charlotte FC. This team, it really should finish last. Their squad is very, very underwhelming and lacks things like, talent. That's one big thing they lack. But I think Cincy are actively trying to finish last, so I'll put them 13th for their first season, avoiding the wooden spoon. Now, in 12th place here, I got the Chicago Fire. They brought in Jadran Shaqiri, and they're going in the right direction. They're showing some good ambition, but unfortunately their defense is still mostly a bunch of wet putty, and I don't think they'll be able to win the World Cup this year, so I'm going to put them in a 12th place finish this season. Coming in at 11th place, we have New York Red Bull Energy Drink FC. A drop off from last season. They're going to miss the playoffs. Let's be honest, you're just New York City FC's unloved little brother. Nobody likes you, and they'll need another run near the end of the season if they want a playoff berth. But I think during the stretch they'll just fall flat this season, and they'll end up finishing the season in 11th place. Coming in 10th, I got Inter Miami. Miami still has a very talented squad, but they lack good coaching and an entire backline in the defense, honestly. They haven't made convincing changes, and I think they'll once again miss the playoffs, finishing about 10th place. Coming in 9th is going to be DC United. A decent team with some good pieces. Kamara is an absolute goal machine and will really be leading this team, but I think they'll just miss the playoffs by just a couple of points. They're a really good team, and they definitely could make the postseason, but I think they'll just fall short once again by a couple points and end the season in 9th. Now, in 8th place, we have Orlando City FC. Orlando, they will be without Nani and DK this season. They've brought in Torres, but their tackle, it just won't be nearly as dangerous as it was last year. I think that will cost them a spot in the playoffs by maybe a point, even goal difference, and they'll finish 8th place. Now, our first playoff team in the East will be the New England Revolution. A huge fall from their Supporter Shield triumph last season, but still a spot in the playoffs. They lost Buchanan, and they brought in Josie Altidore and the flying car wreck Omar Gonzalez. Come on, bro. Yeah. The core of the team is still there, but with Gonzalez, you aren't getting anywhere near 73 points. So I still think they'll make the playoffs, but a low 7th place finish. Coming in 6th place here, I have the Columbus Crew. I think they will learn from last year's mistakes. I think they still have a very, very strong squad with plenty of talent. I think the 2020 champions will be going back to the postseason, finishing about 6th place, because they still have a really good all-around team. It's just a matter if their coaching will be good enough this season. But yeah, 6th place. Coming in at 5th place, I have CF Montreal. The Canadian champions actually have a really good team, as much as it pains me to say. They have a really good all-around team. I think Johnson was a really good signing. They brought in Kamara, who I think is a smart signing. They're very, very well coached. They're very well organized, and I think they'll be going back to the playoffs, finishing about 5th place. Coming in at 4th place, I'm putting Toronto FC. We have done a lot to fix the team, bringing in a new coach in Bob Bradley, new players in Salcedo, Jimenez, O'Neill, McNaughton, and in the summer, Insigne will be here. So I expect a big turnaround from last season for us. We'll be pretty good until the summertime, but once Insigne come in, we should be one of the best, if not the best team in the league. But, we probably will choke again. Anyways, in 3rd place, I'm putting the Philadelphia Union. A very well-run and coached team with a group of players that play well together and play hard. I think Andre Blake is an amazing goalkeeper who very well, I think, will win the Golden Glove, let's be honest here. So, expect a really good season from Philadelphia, finishing in about 3rd place and could even challenge for higher spots. Now, coming in at second place, I'm putting Atlanta United. Atlanta are always a fun team. They're always doing something creative. I think Almeida is a huge signing. I think he's going to really tear this league up. And I think Martinez has a point to prove this season. Honestly, I see him. He's got a point. He's got to go for the Golden Boot. I think he's going to shoot for the Golden Boot, and he's going to help elevate his team, placing them second in the East. Coming in at first, I'm putting the defending champions, New York City FC. I think the defending champs, they have a star-studded team. Players like Castellanos, Morales, Johnson, to name a few. I think Magno will really break out this year, and I think they'll be able to slingshot their team to first in the East. So that concludes my Eastern predictions. Now, moving on to the West Coast and the west side of America and Nashville, I'm putting in 14th place the Houston Dynamo. Honestly, Houston have arguably the worst team in MLS. They brought in Sebastian Ferrero, but it's not going to be enough to fix this dumpster fire of a squad, so I'm going to put them in dead last 14th in the West. Coming in at 13th place, I'm putting FC Dallas. Simply put, Pepe was their entire team last season, and he's gone. Sure, Valsasco and Areola are good signings, but the rest of the squad just isn't up to par, and I expect a pretty rough season, finishing at about 13th place. Coming in at 12th, I'm putting Austin FC. I think Austin are going in the right direction, slowly building a solid team. I think losing Pochettino is a big hit, but I believe they'll still do better than last season, and they'll get more points this season, and they'll improve to 12th place. In 11th place, I'm putting the San Jose Earthquakes. Not a whole lot about them. It's largely the same squad from last season, and they fell flat then, so I expect them to fall flat this season, once again, ending in 11th place. In 10th, I got Real Salt Lake. RSL, they lost Rosnik. And without him, the squad is pretty uninspiring. Although, who knows, they pulled off some magic last season, and who's to say they won't do it again, but I'm still going to have to put them in 10th place. Finishing in 9th will be LAFC. The irrelevant team from Los Angeles are in full rebuild. Bob Bradley is gone, and they won't have Rossi till the summer. They should be pretty good defensively this season. If you watch Canada, you'll know Daniil Henry is a beast. I think Crepeau is a pretty good signing, but Vela didn't look all that convincing last season, and without him pumping in the goals, I think they'll have a tough time, so 9th place. Finishing 8th, just missing out on the playoffs, will be the Vancouver Whitecaps. An all-around pretty good team with a good coach. They easily could make the postseason, but I think they'll just miss out by a point or two, and they'll finish 8th, but they definitely do have a good chance of making it to the postseason once again. Coming in at 7th, our first postseason team of the West, I have the LA Galaxy. Expect a lot of goals from this team. The Galaxy's attack is looking as dangerous as ever. Of course, their defense is a complete dumpster fire, but I think that they know that, and they're just going to try to outscore their opponents. I believe they'll learn from last season, and they won't fall flat during the stretch, and they'll finish 7th, making it back to the postseason. In 6th place, I'm putting Minnesota United. I'm a big fan of the style of Minnesota. I think Reynosa is a monster, and that Adrian Heath will get the most out of every single player. Minnesota should be able to cruise to a 6th place finish. Well, as long as you keep Reynosa away from any high schools. Anyways, in 5th place, we have Sporting Kansas City. It will definitely be a tougher season with Pulido out, but the core of the team is still fully intact. Kansas should be able to dig deep, really push themselves, and finish in a solid 5th place. Bit of a drop from last season, but still a solid place in the postseason. In 4th place, I'm going to be putting the Colorado Rapids. Losing Bassett will hurt. Don't get me wrong, it will hurt. But I think the Rapids still will be able to pull through. They made some good signings in Kay and Acosta, and I really like Robin Fraser as a coach. A drop from last season, but still a fine finish in 4th place. 3rd, I'm putting the Seattle Sounders. An aging, but still really great team. Players like Rudiez, Roldan, Morris, Ladero, Andrade, Paulo, and they've added Rosnek. Yeah, this team is elite. And they will definitely challenge for first, but I think they'll just be edged out by a couple teams by a couple of points. So I'm going to put them in 3rd place. In 2nd, I'm putting the Portland Timbers, the MLS Cup runners-up. with another strong season. The squad is full of talent and under elite coaching. I think they'll be able to score plenty of goals. Their defense will do pretty good this season, and I think they'll have nothing less. I expect nothing else and nothing less but excellence with a second place finish. First place, I'm going to go with a new team, Nashville SC. Topping the West will be the team from the East, Nashville. After the disappointment of last season in the playoffs, I believe they will have a real hunger to get the job done. Hani Mukhtar is elite, and so is Nashville's defense led by Zimmerman. Nashville will give it all this season. I think they're going to try for the MLS Cup, and they're going to show their true colors this regular season and finish first in the West. So that concludes my predictions for the West. That concludes my 2022 MLS Season Predictions. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Share with all your friends if you want them to also lose brain cells. And as always, this has been Toronto FC Fan TV, and see ya.